Making it count button.
Yep.
The big shiny red button. I had headphones on, but all I could hear was wind because I have to like turn the sound around me on so I can hear myself talk.
Are you outside?
Yeah, I'm on the back.
Oh, it doesn't sound windy.
Yeah, well, it's okay right now. I'm thinking maybe it just sounds louder when I put the headphones on because they pick up every single stupid little thing. Probably. But whatever. Doggies got bass, so they're pure white today. So we're gonna enjoy that for the next 2 days before they get dirty again.
Not raining.
Okay, you guys are there, right? I can't see my tablet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Oh, there's my AMIP. Okay, I got it. All right. So, welcome to Castle Rock. Have we been to Castle Rock before? I'm not sure we have.
I think so.
I think Bag of Bones with the TR-90 was the closest we got.
I just that last part we just read. Who was it? Norris Ridrick was out by TR7, the old Camber place. You know what that is?
Well,
The
Joe
old Cujo
Camber.
place.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even know that was his name. I feel like I know his dad way more.
well, the Camber place is not anyone from Rattlesnakes. That's where Cujo lived, and he like killed Joe Camber before they got there because he was rabies and all that.
Kim, I just thought that was him.
Yeah, Vic Trenton, right? Isn't that his name? So it was Tad. The kid's name was Tad Trenton. Sounds like an 80s executive or something. You can see him like in a bathroom doing coke or something. Like, was that Bright Lights, Big City? Anybody know what that is? Michael J. Fox movie where they're like a bunch of yuppies that like work and do drugs all night.
Not that one, but I know Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah, kind of
similar premise.
Yeah, they don't like steal. They're just like stockbrokers, but they're like having trouble holding on to their existence because they're all fucked up all the time. So they're not like making a ton of money and like stealing from people. I don't think. It was one of the actual books I had to read for my summer reading in high school, and then it was like a movie after that, which was interesting because that never happened before. Because usually those books suck. So, well, Amber, you've not read this, right?
No, I haven't. I really, really enjoyed this. I said, like, once I started reading, I couldn't really stop. I was like, I mean, all of his stories are good, but it's been a while since I've been truly, like, intrigued and, like, need to know more.
I mean, this is as classic gets, right? This is him at his best. I mean, 50 pages in, and I started highlighting, like, all the people I was meeting, and, like, I'm already lost. Like, I couldn't keep up.
Strangely, I don't feel that lost this time. I feel like he's done a good job of setting the scene. It reminds me a lot of it, of just, like...
There's so much going on. It's not necessarily the people, but it's, like, who's doing what and what's going on where and why this is happening over here. Like, right, so these two are fighting.
Who's mad at who? Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're just getting to I kind of skipping to the end, I guess, because I just read that part. But, it's Nettie and Wilma, but Brian is the one that actually did it. So it's a big triangle there.
Yeah, like a big cork board with some strings attached to it.
Yeah, right? Like a homicide room or whatever. Kidnapping or something.
Well, and to keep track of, like, the who's supposed to be playing a prank on who and who's actually, like, who they'll think it is and who gets the ramifications because of that, and how this ties into previous existing stories of, like, things done in Castle Rock. It's a lot.
I don't remember what were the other Castle Rock books. I think they were mostly his earlier ones, like Cujo and...
Yeah, Cujo was one. The Dark Half, I think, was one.
So all his shitty books are...
Because I remember I actually looked it up when it's got into, like, the section before the actual chapter 1, part 1, where it's like, you've been here before, take a look.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that, have I given away, like, how this book ends?
Kind of.
I don't remember, I'll say that.
Okay, well, so he's saying, I mean... At this point, by the time he wrote this, most of his books are in Castle Rock, so this is like familiar, and that's what he's saying. Like, hey, here we go again.
Yeah.
But there's a reason he's saying that, and I'm not going to say the reason. So, but I think it's implied. So, I'm sorry. What was your point? I think I sidetracked.
No, just that there's a lot going on already with a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he was calling it a prank. It just seems pretty overt. Like, well, wouldn't you be like, hey, why don't you let's just call it a favor? You're just doing me a favor or something. Like,
well, I get him saying it to Brian because Brian's a kid, so it's like maybe it rolls, it sounds better. But like, didn't he say that to one of the adults too?
Yeah.
so much is there. Just starting with, so great. He's got the card. He's always wanted his entire life, but he can't tell anybody about it. So,
oh, there's a theme there. It's like everybody getting what they want and then like not being able to share it at
right,
all.
right. The picture Elvis, which is weird.
It's like romance novel-esque.
Right. Well, that's what she's in love with, right? The romance idea, not the actual guy who died shitting on the toilet.
Married to a child.
No, that was the other one. Jerry Lee Lewis.
I'm pretty sure his wife was like 15 or something.
Which one's his wife? Lisa Marie? Is that his wife?
I looked things up well.
Is she still alive?
One of them just died, wasn't it? Lisa Marie? She had I don't know, heart attack or something at like 50.
Mm-mm.
I hate when that happens now that's like younger than me.
Yeah, but you're in a lot better health.
Yeah. Well, that's my first question. I'm like, okay, what was wrong with her? Like, did that just randomly happen? Because that sucks when that.
Right. That would be the doctors at play.
Well, that's the argument I have with certain family members. When it's my time, it's my time. Well, you can make it not your time. You know that, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the bald doctors.
Those doctors. There's no getting away from them. But which ones? Yeah. Be nice to those guys. Just don't talk to a tropo. Just pretend he doesn't exist.
Well, once you start, well, I was going to say when you start seeing auras, but some people do, supposedly, so.
Well, that's just good drugs.
I will say, I don't know if we've talked about this before or if this is even true, but my first thought was like, why would somebody come into town and just start messing with everyone? And then I was like, well, I know somebody who would do that. That would be Fleck.
I was thinking that because I kind of had that same thought, but I was like, well, Walter would do that just for the snickeriness of it.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the same person now. It is kind of Flag like where he just shows up and starts fucking with people and then gets the fuck, then leaves.
Very entertaining. And I'm like, it feels like watching like one of the reality shows too, because I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I like the way he jumps around and and like the narrator is like the town is the narrator at points instead of one individual character, so you're kind of seeing it all at once. I love the way he does that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why it feels like you're almost watching it like through a camera or something.
Right, and it's like, oh, look over here. Oh, and how about this? Yeah, so you feel immersed in it. You're right. Like I was mad when I had to stop reading this morning. I was like, oh.
I felt like we picked the perfect place to stop though. It was like very succinct and like until to be continued.
How did it end? It ended with Norris doing something.
Well, this is why did I feel like it was
Norris and the fishing rod.
Oh yeah. I guess nobody's talking to each other. I'm like, they don't find it suspicious that like he has exactly what everyone's looking for.
There's one thing. Well, no, because they all have to do a favor, so nobody's talking about what they got.
Right.
He's selling all this shit and not one person's saying a word about it. It was kind of odd. Yeah, and they only like, how do you say it? Is there anybody buying normal shit? Like, is there a store full of people that actually like, spend $20 on a glass vase or something and no strings attached? Is there any normal customers?
It felt that way when what's her name bought from I can't remember. It was like the ladies group that stopped in after Polly, and she like bargained with him, and I was like, oh, so he does sell things normally?
The one with Elvis painting?
Well, I don't even remember what she bought. It was a vase, I think.
Very judgy, those small town ladies, aren't they?
Yeah. Hey, we saw that firsthand. They are judgy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I know that's true. I don't know what they're doing in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing in there.
Who does he think he is?
That was funny because up to that point it was just characters in a book. Then you're like, wait a minute, there really are these people up here.
We were visiting shopkeepers in Maine, and they were talking like that.
They were talking about another shopkeeper who was not. It was like right after COVID, and he had gone like mostly online, and so he wasn't coming into the shop. And when he was like, he wasn't opening the doors, and they were like, staring at him through the window, like, what's he doing in there? It's so like small town Maine judgy. I was like, oh my God, you guys are so cute.
It's happening.
Yeah. That's the thing. He said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the shop opened. You have to wait at least, what was it, 2 hours? And you can't be the first one, but somebody's got to be the first one, right? Otherwise, the guy will make no money. And you don't bring a cake, I think, the first time.
Yeah, I already forgot the rules.
Yeah, it was funny how many rules there were. And like Polly's like some super rebel, so she just walked in and brought him a cake and everything. It looked like they were gonna drop dead and like have a heart attack.
It's also funny because I guess this was like these, but like when you think of like the '60s, like it was rude to not welcome your neighbors that way.
Yeah.
Well, that's also true. They're coming out of that era where you were a lot more neighborly. Yeah, every TV show I've ever watched, like when you move to the neighborhood, someone's showing up at your door with a cake. I've never seen that happen ever.
I mean, I don't know about an actual cake, but we've had neighbors like introduce themselves.
Yeah, if they're outside, not knocking on the door. Well, maybe I've had that happen.
I've
Long
had it
time ago.
happen at my house,
Yeah, well, you got the
but
church
there's only a
crowd, right?
few of us here, so that's why.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that happened in my parents' neighborhood, but that definitely did not happen to me.
Yeah, it's like a bygone era, right?
Yeah.
With Zebcos and foxtails.
Yeah, this is so funny to me. It reminds me, I know it's like random, but it reminds me of that episode or they do like a short side story on American Dad where they have the golden nugget that people keep finding and then like murdering people over and then like keeping it and it's like becomes like a Lord of the Rings thing where it's like, my precious, and that's what it reminds me of is like these people get these items that they've been wanting that they will do anything for, and then it becomes like an addiction where it's like you just want to look at it and you want to think about it, but you can't show anyone and you can't take it anywhere because like it's precious now. It's
Yeah,
all
Hugh's
consuming.
already doing the precious thing. He doesn't want to take it. He doesn't want to put it on his car because someone's going to steal it. So he's keeping it locked in a closet. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I'm just like, people will come in my house and steal it. They'll do
Yeah,
anything.
like, I'm gonna have to get a lock for that. Like nobody wants your fucking crappy little 2-room lean-to there. So yeah. So far there seems to be mostly a theme of everybody gets the one thing that they always wanted, but they can't tell anybody because of what they had to do to get it.
And he's very, I mean, Mr. Gaunt, which is hilarious in and of itself. I'm like, really? Seems a little on the nose, but.
Maybe he's fat. You never know.
Well, no, so I looked up the definition to be certain. It's lean and haggard, especially because of suffering, hunger, or age, grim or desolate in appearance. So it's like,
Oh.
and people were starting to, I mean, okay, so a few things if we're jumping right into it. His eyes constantly change colors, like depending on whoever's looking at him. He seems to be getting younger, I think, which I'm assuming it has to do with like, people being so into the items, and there's some sort of hypnotism going on for sure.
He's feeding off or eating their misery or something like Pennywise.
Right.
Fear.
He's one of, what's
Flag.
that demon?
He's a lot like Flag. He's like the same guy.
It reminds me so much of Flag, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
that
he's
is a
got that
really on the
same.
nose name. I didn't realize Gaunt meant it was like age and withering or whatever. I just thought it meant you needed to eat more. Very Gaunt. Yeah, and I mean that's like I said, this is a fun book, and because the entire problem with the entire book is that people assume they know what's happening without.
Yeah, and nobody tells anybody the real things.
Right. So it's like one big giant fuck all misunderstanding, and he's just like sitting back like lard ass enjoying the mayhem that he created.
Very entertaining.
It's just interesting how he like treats the different people different ways too. Like with Brian, he's like, everything will be okay, and you are like gonna be the best introduction to the town for me, and very, very sweet. Same with Norma or Nellie, sorry. But then with the lady with the Elvis painting, Myrish, he's like, I hate you, you suck, you're awful, do you want this painting or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I was like, wait, is this like what is he doing? Like he's actually making her pay for it?
Yeah.
Like I didn't understand it any. Well, he made her pay for it, and she had to do something, right? Well, we don't know what that is. I don't think yet.
Yeah, no, we don't know the favor yet.
But there's definitely a favor. Yeah, like he screwed her pretty good. I felt like he didn't like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point. I wonder like why.
Like, you can fucking. He's like orgasming all over this picture in his store, and he's just sitting there like picking lint off his leg while losing her mind in his chair. Okay. I don't be like, you can keep that. I don't want that back now.
He definitely, I mean, he knows information because they all keep saying like, "Oh my God, he knows my name," blah blah blah. Now that I thought about it, I mean, clearly Brian wants somebody to like meet him and pay attention to him because he wants to tell his mom about the store just so that she'll listen to him, which I thought was so sad.
I know.
Interesting that Brian went right to can't tell anyone. I'm trying to think. At 11 years old, would I given a shit about how much I paid for it? I would have went right to my dad and said, "Look what the fuck I got." Those adult kind of things wouldn't have been. I don't think part of my first instinct would have been I can't tell because I didn't pay enough for it. And like, well, look at this. I'd have been like, look at this asshole gave me. Check this shit out.
Philly is clearly our way too mature 11-year-old.
Yeah.
There's some awful people.
Brian. I said Philly, Brian.
Castle Rock is a bad place. Some of these people are bad. I was cracking up with like Hugh Priest when he's like walking home drunk, and he was like getting mad for no reason other than he was drunk. He was doing like a great job of like getting in his like drunk head and like reasoning shit that didn't make sense, and like I just have to smack somebody for the hell of it because he's just drunk and he doesn't know why. It's like, oh yeah, I think I've been there. I'm pretty sure
that was really well done.
There's so much. I'm still looking at the epigraph. Like, actually, after you read the first, like what we read, 5 chapters, you should go back and read the epigraph because it talks about all the people you meet in one like condensed Cliff Note version. Like every character except Frank Dodd. Frank Dodd is. Wait a minute.
I was gonna ask because it was mentioned
who went crazy and killed those women. Dead Zone. He's the one. Well, I'm not gonna say any more than that. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's no spoilers after 50 years.
No.
Who's Ace? Because you never know what we're gonna read. So, sorry.
Ace and Pop Merrill. Who is that again? Who are they? Is that the junkyard owner?
Is Kiefer Sutherland. Notorious Castle Rock badass in like every book ever. He's the bully in school. He's the older. He's the guy in.
So right story, but wrong guy.
Yeah, he's the one that puts the knife to his face. I feel like I'm getting confused with Pennywise.
Yeah. Okay.
But he does something in the movie when they're coming out of the store or something, doesn't he? And they get out of it, and then they see him again when they get to the body, and he's like, "Not today, Ace," and he like pulls the gun on him that like weighs more than he does.
Right. So he's right. The whole plot hole of that story of like, well, what happens when you go back to school?
Yeah, because he's just gonna let that go.
Yeah. Anyway,
Pop is his, I think, dad or granddad. He was like, Pop is like the guy who has like the hardware store that has everything, and he knows everybody, and he's doing all these probably not illegal behind the scenes deals with everyone in town, but you don't know exactly what they are. Like a big giant junk store. But I don't remember I don't remember how Pop died. Maybe I should say I don't know what book
the store burned down, I think, because of like a Polaroid camera.
And that made me think of the Sundog, but I didn't verify if that's what that was from.
I think that sounds right, maybe.
Because the Sundog is like a camera. He keeps taking a picture and like the dog in the picture that keeps getting closer.
Yeah.
On the same Polaroid.
According to Wikipedia, that's how he died and where he's from.
Okay. So I did not remember. I haven't read that in a long time, so that's 4 past midnight. That was a fun story though. He did a good job of building the terror. Every time they're like, oh god, like what's going to happen when like the Ring? What's going to happen when they get to the end and they start coming out? I don't remember how that ended. That's the best part of that. I don't know if the Sundog came out or not. Sorry.
He makes a reference to that. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but he said it was like, I woke up 4 minutes past midnight. And in my brain, I was like, isn't that a book?
Oh, I didn't catch that. Oh, see, I wonder which one came out first. Because these came out around the same time, like mid-90s. So Ace grows up and basically goes to jail.
Hey, you know what? There's also I wonder, that can't be the same camera, right? There's who would need that? Never mind. There's a Polaroid camera when Brian first gets there. It's like one of the 4 items.
Hello. Neighbors.
Hello?
Yeah, they call me Mr. Ed, and I want to make a joke, but I don't think they know what I'm pretty sure they don't know what TV show I'm. I forgot where I was. So Ace grows up and goes to jail. I don't think Pop was in too many stories. It was more Ace that was in most of them. Like he was a lot of the Castle Rock books. He was the bad guy.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm double checking what I said on page 26 in my book. When Brian first gets to the store, he's looking at the items. The 3rd item was a Polaroid camera. I wonder if that's the same camera.
I had the same thought. I remember thinking that. I'm like, well, there's probably more than one Polaroid camera in the world.
True, and also who would need that?
But he did call it out on purpose. That didn't happen by accident.
Yeah. It might just be a nod.
Right.
And here's this little Easter egg if you've read this story.
Yeah, and then I did notice the obligatory Kennedy reference already, so we got that out of the way.
He also mentioned he has a Buick. Hugh Priest drives a Buick.
I keep forgetting about the Buick.
I
Yeah,
can't
everybody
not
drives it.
notice it now.
Yeah, I haven't caught on to that yet because it was never.
Another prediction I have. So when Brian is daydreaming about his teacher and he's like hoping her fiance dies or something, he mentions maybe he'll get a brain tumor, but that would probably never happen. And I'm like, he's gonna get a tumor. I already know it's gonna happen. Stephen King doesn't mention brain tumors without them happening these days.
I don't know. 40 years later, he mentioned a lot of brain tumors.
And
All
they
his
always
all his
happen.
wives die of them. What'd you say?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he's a big fan of them. I don't know what the word is.
I like brain tumors.
I
I
think it's
feel
a
like that's
fear.
not the right way to phrase that, but okay.
To me, it reads as a deep fear of his, like that he'll get a brain tumor one day.
I
Yeah.
like how it's a bit. Yeah, I'm thinking clearly, right? He's like, maybe if I just like write it enough, then it won't happen. Maybe he had one. I mean, like he didn't, tell anybody.
Maybe that too.
Okay, and if he
Maybe.
didn't, then I'm not gonna look because I don't want to like wish bad. I like how Holly is. I guess she's like the rebel of the town because again, she doesn't follow the rules, and they can't even figure out if she's from here or if she's from away because she was
Well,
here and then she went away. But now she's back. But has she been back long enough to be from here, or is she still from away?
it feels like even if she's from here, quote unquote, they're not gonna like her. So who cares?
And who are these people that are doing all this? Is this the red hat ladies or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is
These
this,
ladies have jobs. This is the '90s.
I guess not. Jobs didn't make it up to Maine in the 90s for women, I guess.
Because Polly and Nellie, is that her name? Nellie have jobs, but they're
Well,
not
Polly's a
gossiping.
business owner, right? Nettie
Yeah,
is
Nettie.
Nettie works for Polly, right? Because Polly owns a sewing shop, and her hands are twisted with arthritis. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, makes her
Uh,
real susceptible to.
right. She's clearly. Oh, that's where we ended. He said he had something for her,
Yeah,
and we
and
and we don't know
as
what it was.
we got to see behind the curtain for a second when she walked out before, and he was like, "You'll do just fine."
I know he was like a snake or withering or something. Yeah, he'll do. Like his hands should be rubbing together like him at the beach.
Oh, it got real noisy.
I'm looking behind it to see if there's like a sign like Ida Joe's 920. Yeah, but he said that to Brian too, and I was trying to figure that out also because Brian himself was like, wait, well, he was like smart enough to know that doesn't make sense.
That what doesn't make sense.
He's like, you can be the best advertisement I could ever have or something, but if you can't tell anybody how, so what did he mean by that?
I remember that because I wrote down what he says after that. He's like, you know what, grown-ups don't think the same as normal people, so who knows? Oh
Yeah,
my
that was funny. Yeah, grown-ups don't think the same as normal people. He's so good he's so good at being a kid. I don't know what it is.
god.
Like I believe Brian is 11 years old at every point in this so far.
I just love it. Grown-ups don't think the same as normal people.
And he's reading the audiobook again, so that part cracked me up.
Oh, that's funny.
Grown-ups don't think the same as normal. The funny part about that is I'm pretty sure every kid like in existence has thought that at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well, and then you realize that grown-ups are normal people.
Right. Yeah, they're the normal ones actually. You spend more time as a grown-up than you do as a kid for sure.
Well, most people, not everyone.
Well, hopefully, I guess. All right. Brian, you guys there? It made a weird noise, yes.
I'm here.
Brian, has very testosterone-fueled dreams about his teacher.
I mean, I was never an 11-year-old boy, but I hear it happens.
I was trying to remember, it's been a little while.
Maybe 11 is young, but
See me having those thoughts at that age, where like, well, he'll just die and then we can be together. Like, you're I don't know what the word is.
It's the one-track minded.
Focused and like nothing else matters or makes sense, and even your thoughts don't make sense. Clearly, like you
don't have the capability to think about consequences.
Yeah, or and like the thoughts like his is not something it's not like as a kid you're sitting there daydreaming that it would happen, but you don't actually think that that's possibility. Like if he went to school the next day and his teacher was like, "Hey, come take me," he'd run out of the door screaming.
Oh, I know. I mean, obviously the whole thing is like that. Hopefully that would never happen because that would be horrible abuse.
Yeah. But when testosterone's flooding your brain like that, you do have those.
Yeah, it's a
like
fantasy.
every
It's
person you see, even 90-year-old ladies, well,
yeah,
close
no,
to
no,
it.
no. I'm not blaming him for having that. I'm just saying it's very clearly meant to be a fantasy for him.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it's relatable.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
I mean, everything about. I feel like he got stuck as like a 12-year-old kid at some point. Those are his best books.
What happened to him when he was 11 through 13?
Right?
A lot of weird shit.
Maybe that's when he found his dad's comic books or something. I like how Hugh Priest is.
Yeah, I will. No, go ahead. Mine's gonna be different.
I like how Hugh Priest is driving with a beer between his legs. No big deal.
Well, it's the 90s. Who cares?
Right? You don't have to kill people back then.
I mean, no, I will say, to be honest, the whole town seems pretty anti-drunk driving, or the whole book, for, I don't know, like, yes, Hugh is doing bad things, but the overall tone is like, drunk driving is bad, and he's very bad for doing that.
Yeah.
Well, we got the classic Catholics versus Protestants, right?
I like that. I never thought I'd be on the Catholic side.
Right? I don't say that too loud. I believe in the Catholics. Like, fuck. Can I say that?
I support Catholics.
The Catholics are right. No, I can't say that. But in this, I don't know. I kind of see his point, but he's also right. If you're just you're paying a donation for the fun of gambling without actually really doing any gambling. Great. That sounds like a good compromise.
I think, yeah, it's nobody's business, but religious people have nothing better to do but then to get in everybody's business.
Well, if it's illegal, it's illegal. But then again, yeah, if he didn't say anything, he didn't just, yeah, just mind your own business. But this is not a town where people mind their own business. Clearly.
But he did check. I mean, according to what he said, he checked the law, and the law says it's allowed. So, like, there's not even a legal issue.
Yeah, well, when he said, it's not gambling because everybody pays at the door, and then you get, I don't know, chips or whatever, and you win prizes like a T-ball or something. Like that's way different. That's not even gambling. And then what's his name, Reverend Willie?
Reverend, I don't understand that. Why does he call him Steamboat Willie?
Mickey.
Okay, but what's the joke?
Because he gets mad all the time. And why does he talk?
Mickey Mouse gets mad all the time?
No, but like a steamboat, like he blows his top.
Okay. So his name is Reverend Rose, but people call him Reverend Willie because of his nickname Steamboat Willie.
Reverend William Rose is his name.
Okay.
Steamboat Willie.
Willie comes from William, and Steamboat is because he gets mad all the time.
Right. And there's famously Mickey Mouse's first ever cartoon was called Steamboat Willie, which I guess in the 90s most people would get that reference. Maybe not now.
Well, I know because that was the thing that, like, last year or this year, the first Disney thing that had to be released to the public, no longer copyright or whatever.
Yeah, we were talking about that, weren't we? Yeah, 75 years?
100 years, I think.
100 years.
They kept trying to prolong it, and then finally the court was like, no. Public domain. It is now public domain, yeah.
Just not big fans of giving shit for free.
No. Just wait until we get... Well, I guess we will probably be dead by then. I was going to say all the stuff from the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I got an outside chance, I guess, but I'm not sure I'll be able to like wipe my own butt or anything.
But now that makes sense. So I was confused about the Reverend Willie thing.
Yeah, well, what I'm confused, I was trying to, and I was reading this part, not audiobooking it. Why the fuck does he talk like that?
Your Honor.
And even when he's screaming, you can't do this.
It reminds me of who's the I'm doing that.
Who's the
say that character.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Yes, yeah.
Say boy, what are you doing there? I'm a chicken hawk, and you're a chicken.
Well, it seems it's kind of a southern thing almost.
Right. That's
so it's weird to read it from Maine.
I mean, I kind of picture him in a white suit with like a white hat. He almost has to be wearing that.
Sweating a lot. He has a handkerchief.
Right. Now we're getting on to the revival movie again. Oh, did you see the trailer that I sent you guys?
Yes, the It one.
Yeah. I like it. Bill was like, I was done with this, but it's Andy and his wife, and they asked, so what can you do?
I mean, I feel like that's probably going to be his most iconic role, because I know so many people who know nothing about Stephen King who know Bill Skarsgård and the eye trick that he can do.
Yeah.
I mean, every actor's afraid of being a one-trick pony, but that's, it's better than being a no-trick pony,
Right.
Well, a lot of people. It's like if it pays the bills, then who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be pigeonholed. It's like, well, yeah, well, you don't ever have to work a day in your life because of that one movie you made. So,
I just
now
hope,
you're going to Comic Cons for the rest of your life.
does he have kids? I hope they don't only see him that way.
You're like, Daddy, do the Pennywise thing. Yeah. Does he have any kids named Georgie? I hope not. Hi, Georgie. So, because I'm addicted to watch Mojo, Skarsgård or Tim Curry?
Who's better?
Yeah, who would you take? You're
They're
making a movie,
different.
and then those are your two options.
Who's my audience? The world?
No further details are available.
I
think
mean, then
I think I gotta take Tim Curry if it's the level playing field. They were both great, though.
I gotta go Skarsgård then, I think.
It depends on if you're going more towards campy or more towards horror.
That's what I mean.
Well, you're
I
thinking
think
campy because of when that was made, but Tim Curry. Well, Tim Curry's slightly insane now, I think. But
he's
if he did
perfectly
it
sane in the movie.
right, maybe he never got over it.
That's the thing. Like, if we're making a movie like today, there's no way Tim Curry's Pennywise it's gonna be camp, which is a whole different movie. Like, I'm down for it, but that's why I said, who's the audience?
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be. Tim Curry can be terrifying. I don't know. He is Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror.
I mean, if Tim Curry did the same type of it today, like with the effects and stuff, because even the scary parts when he's supposed to look terrifying in that he's made for TV was not that scary based on our standards today, but I'm sure it was then.
Yeah, I want to see Tim Curry with today's effects. I think that would be amazing.
That Tim Curry is the one that has forever made me afraid of sewers, so I don't disagree that it was terrifying when it came out. Or that Pennywise.
That weird music. And I was always upset that they dug a tunnel underground and made a fort, because I always tried to do that, and it always flooded every time it rained, and I never figured that out.
Well, right. I mean, with no... Yeah, never mind. We've already talked about that.
I'm so upset.
I would want to see it, give it a fair shot. I think Tim Curry could be scary. I just don't know what that would look like.
Yeah.
I think he would be amazing.
But anyway. I think I wouldn't compare them because I think they're good for different reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do
do a Spider-Man like homecoming thing, have them all get together.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Into the Spider-Verse. You can even call it the same thing. You could call it the Spider-Verse.
Oh my God.
You could have all these Pennywises show up.
Not only that, you could just have villains. Like, you could have Flag. So you could have his brother.
See, they can all be like spiders. It could be a Flag spider and a Walter spider. You can even have Mordred there.
Yeah, actually, that would be a dream world. Imagine if we had the Stephen King universe like the Marvel universe.
Oh my God. That'd get messy.
I mean, we kind of, yeah.
No, but I want to see them in the same movie together.
Oh God, no. I don't want to. I just want to give me a decent Dark Tower movie to start the series.
Okay.
About other stuff. I don't want to know anything before that happens. Although, Life of Chuck's coming out, I think, here soon, right?
Is that a book?
That is a movie based on If It Bleeds, story in If It Bleeds. I think he lives backwards or something. I forget. I read it, but it was like a blur. I read that book really fast. Because the first one was a Holly book, a Holly story, and she was after the outsider. It was like a more outsider, but he was in a different town fucking with someone else. And it was really like being supernaturally and it was like Fallen. You remember last time we podcasted, I was trying to think of that Denzel movie. Just because Watch Mojo is awesome. They just had it on one of their countdowns. It was called Fallen. And you never see the demon. The demon just jumps into other people that look like regular people, so you never know which one it is. And it like jumps from person to person by touch. So it could be anyone at any time. And that's kind of what the outsider is. It could look like anyone you know.
Damn.
Really into that first story, and then the rest were okay. So, I felt like the first story should.
First story should have been what?
The whole book, like it should have been longer. And then they did come out with a Holly story after that. I forget what that one's called, and it was more old people killing young people for their life force kind of stuff. There's a lot of people doing that when he gets gotten older. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Well, I guess she's not young, but I'd be more worried if I was his wife, since his wife keeps dying.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like Rose the Hat from Dr. Sleep. It was like Rose, kind of old. They were like normal college professor and his wife, and they were like fucking kidnapping and like eating people's energy or something. I don't know what my point there was. I need a Dark Tower movie, and Life of Chuck's coming out, and there's something else coming out.
I know I have to do research because I usually, like, every couple months I look up what's going on with Flanagan, and I haven't in a while.
I know. It's disheartening because I want to be excited and I can't be. I just have to just let it happen.
It is the longest game ever to have to play.
I think I feel. I've been doing this like my whole life just about.
It's like a treasure hunt.
I waited 3 to 4 to 7 years between goddamn books, but it's not like he wasn't writing other stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
He did have plenty to distract with, but the tower was always the coolest one. Always wanted to go back to the tower. And he's been teasing that, man. We can hope. I want another tower story.
If he comes out with a new book, are we going to do that one right away? For the tower?
Yes. I'm willing to say yes, even on the new books, the regular
ones. Well, true, but I mean, actually, yeah, true, never mind.
If he comes out with a tower book, we're immediately, but it doesn't matter what we're doing. I can't. We're halfway through a fucking book already.
That's what I was going to say.
Put that shit on the shelf. I don't got to publish that yet. I'll take it down. Oh, yeah. I don't even want to speculate. What would it be? It's got to be the fucking Battle of Jericho Hill, right? At least part of it.
I mean, he wrote freaking Wind Through the Keyhole, and that added nothing. I mean, I'm happy for it, but I don't know if I would get like that excited.
Story and a story and a story.
Right.
It's hard to keep straight. Because they were having the what is that storm called?
Oh, the frost. What was it called? It was something frost. No, I don't know.
Some superstorm. I can't remember what the hell they called it. And so that reminded him of when he was a kid, when they had the fucking werewolf guy that was eating people last time they had that storm, and how they distracted that guy was
the story of the tiger.
The Tim Stoutheart.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Why don't you just write a couple different books and tell all these stories by themselves?
And that was very interesting, but it added nothing to the timeline of the Dark Tower.
Yeah, they're great books, and you could have called them, Merlin's Fantasies, and it would have been fine too. It could have not been a tower, and I would have not known the difference, I guess. I mean, I'm glad they're there, but then, yeah, they didn't tell me anything I didn't already know.
Well, that was like the short stories too, like Little Sisters of Ilaria and Hearts in Atlantis.
Well, Hearts in Atlantis was, I think, important because of Ted. Although, did you learn any? Yeah, I mean, you don't really. That's kind of where you learn about Ted, isn't it? You don't learn that much about him in the Dark Tower series.
Ted came to life in Hearts in Atlantis. It did not exist anywhere before that, and it wasn't until 10 years later when you meet him again at the end of the Dark Tower. So I think Ted is in the tower at the end because of Hearts in Atlantis.
I guess you're right in that it doesn't add anything chronologically, but it gives you information.
I mean, Ted's part of the story. I mean, he made him part of the story.
And you learn more about and all that. The Lowmen and everything.
I think it was a cool thread in Hearts in Atlantis that he just kind of didn't explore all the way with the Lowmen and all that. Like, those guys are creepy. I love that. That's why that story is so great, because they just kidnap him and he disappears. You're like, oh my god, what the fuck's gonna happen?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the story. I just don't know that we needed that in order to understand Ted for Dark Tower purposes.
Well, maybe. I mean, Roland didn't like Ted, right?
I like Hearts in not that we're comparing, but I liked what we got from Hearts in Atlantis 1,000 times more than what we got from Wind Through the Keyhole.
I like the Little Sisters of Ilaria.
I do like that story too, but I do agree that I don't think did it even add anything, or was it just because it mentioned them?
Like these were, I don't know how to say it. He was writing them as the tower was coming out. It's not like he went back and said, "Oh, right." Like
that's also true.
He would write, the wastelands, and then it wasn't. He was thinking about the tower, but he wasn't ready to write a book. So he wrote the Little Sisters of Ilaria in a book of short stories he was already publishing. I really don't know where Hearts in Atlantis came from, because that's all about the tower, and but you could read that and know nothing about the tower. Well, it'd be kind of weird. It would just be a weird story.
No, I did that the first time I read it. I didn't know anything about the tower, because I think, or no, did I?
Because you were reading the tower. I put it.
Yeah, but I think I read it in the wrong order, and so I didn't. I don't know. Whatever. But I love that story. Is I guess what I'm saying.
So do I. Mysterious. Still not real sure what was the deal with his mom and the people she was working with were. But
yeah.
I think I know, but that's kind of horrible to think. I hope that's not what it is.
Didn't we also determine that they were some kind of type Like the low men were like type 3 vampires or something.
Does Callahan say that later on? I don't know if they were when he wrote that. I guess maybe I would say.
Yeah.
Which
Change
tying that into Needful Things a little bit, since that's the book we're actually supposed to be talking about. I can't figure out if I'm like trying to compare the proprietor of the store, Leland Gaunt, to a vampire, or if he's more like death personified.
Well, I can tell you my problem. In the movie, it's Max von Stowe, however you say that name. You guys know who that is?
Nope.
Darth Vader's #1 guy. Like, Vader released him.
No.
So that's who I picture. So I got nothing else.
I know what you mean, Allie, because it reminds me a lot of like the feeling that we get from Salem's Lot. Except so it's too early to tell so far. So it's like I don't think people are gonna go disappearing, but definitely something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, in the description of the guy, like, Amber, you'll get this, he physically reminds me of Death from Supernatural.
That's a good point, too. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so I think that's why I'm like, is he like a Grim Reaper kind of death-like type dude?
He gives me much more like, I don't know what the supernatural term would be, but it's like kind of like a genie or like a Joker or like a poltergeist kind of, like.
Kind of.
Someone that just likes to mess with people and cause chaos.
Yeah, I could see that.
But he's definitely draining something from them. He's getting some kind of energy or power from the town somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not just doing it for shits and giggles. That's just like a pleasant side effect.
Yeah. I love a villain that likes to joke around. And Stephen King does too.
That's why, like, I could use a book about Walter. Like, that's why he's so great.
Well, even like Pennywise makes jokes too, and it's like I just love it. It's so funny when they're like doing these awful things and they're just like cracking jokes like a comedian.
Yeah. The first time somebody said like Pennywise is a child murderer, I'm like, hey, wait, well, yeah, I guess he is.
Oh yeah,
I really thought about it that way, but okay.
It's so funny when I feel like actually when people are like he's a clown, I'm like, well, actually he's a demon that feeds off of fear, and children are the easiest to scare, and clowns are scary for them.
Yeah, Gaunt's really not. I mean, there's kind of a supernatural element to it, but he's not really. I guess he's hypnotizing people.
There's some kind of hypnotism, persuasion, or something going on, because he easily convinced, like multiple times they are like, no, I can't. Okay, maybe I will. Or then they feel the pull of the item and they're like, I will do anything for this item.
Yeah, Brian and someone else like didn't even remember what they were supposed to do, and then just magically, like when the time came, like switch flipped in their head. Somebody said the keyword to them, and they were off like a Manchurian candidate.
I forgot about that at first. I was like, what do you mean you don't remember what you're supposed to do? Like, what kind of agreement is that?
Yeah, so they were clearly in some kind, whether it was supernatural or not, they were being some kind of hypnotized. I guess it had to be. It's just a trick. Well, that sounds.
I find it so fascinating. He's like, I think all of the eye colors have been mentioned. It's like blue, green, brown, gray, black. Like, his eye changes color for every person.
I wasn't tracking that. I didn't even catch that.
Oh yeah.
I was
it's going to come up because Polly was like, I don't remember what color she thought they were, but they were like, oh, his eyes. And then the cop got jealous and she was like, make sure you check him out yourself. And I wonder if he's going to notice that they're not the same color.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, so what's Alan? I feel like Alan's not going to like this guy.
Yeah.
And he's...
Yeah, I think I did spoil that for myself when I was like looking on Wikipedia for an answer for some stuff, and it's like, Alan Pangborn and his villain, the proprietor, Leland Gaunt. And I was like, oh.
Stop reading now. Well, he is, let me think. Darkhalf? Is that Alan or is that the old guy? Darkhalf might have been Alan's first book.
I think it was.
I can't remember who the old sheriff was. Something happened to him.
I think that was Cujo, wasn't it?
It might have been. Or Dead Zone, maybe.
Sheriff George Zimmerman or something like that?
Batterman. Yeah, George Zimmerman. I haven't heard that name in a while. Anyway, so I think Darkhalf was Alan. I forgot what my point there was. So, oh, you know what? I highlighted that too. The third item was a Polaroid camera. I was totally thinking it was a Sundog.
It didn't register to me until he said the quote, I woke up 4 minutes past midnight, and I was like, wait, what?
I totally missed that too. Oh, did you see I have to find it. The smile didn't reach your eyes, but it was like a really long way to say it.
Yes, I did. I notated that one too.
Like, he's been doing this shit for a while. Everyone like thinks he's like unpleasant in a way that they can't quite define, but they keep like, I don't know. If I was getting that vibe from someone, I'd probably just leave. and not be doing stuff for them.
Again, I think there's definitely a power of like hypnotism where it's like they can't really leave even if they thought they wanted to. But it also seems to be like there's something biological to it because it's like they shake his hand and they feel revulsed by that.
Yeah.
Well, we don't like things that are almost human, but not quite, right?
But then they always go, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah, they keep mentioning that like the index finger and the middle finger are the same length, and I'm like, I don't know that would weird me out. Like, people's hands are just made differently. Like,
I know. I was thinking that too. I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Is that like a lizard thing?
I'm not sure if I would notice that. Maybe like that's not like
Is it
ew. Like, I don't know.
oh
Is
my
that
God.
common? Like I don't even know
Is
how
he
rare
a
that is.
spider with legs that are equidistant, equal length?
Yeah, wolf spiders aren't they?
Probably, yeah.
Yes, we know how you.
But yeah, so it seems to be like they touch him and they're like, ugh. And then most of them like write it off as like, I'm sure it's nothing because he's so pleasant.
Right.
yeah.
Like, all these suspicious people don't like. Where'd you come from? Because you make me feel weird. I need to know your backstory.
When in reality, it's like, trust your gut.
And nobody does. Like even Brian, when he's like throwing the damn about to throw the mud on the shades, he's like, "Dude, what are you doing? Like, stop." He's like, "I want that fucking card." Like, well, damn. Tell me how you really feel.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, he was persuaded pretty easily for someone who seems to be an overall good kid. And like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess it could be quote unquote harmless, but like, just knowing all the other, like, he could get, what's her name? Nettie? He could get her killed. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't know that.
Wait.
That's true.
Oh, Wilma's crazy. Holy crap, she is.
She's nuts.
She's
Yeah. Now,
like
then again,
talking about
Nettie
her
has
husband
also
like they're
killed.
at war. I'm like, well, that sounds awesome.
You know, when I was reading that part, I was like, I feel like this is how some people think that I think all the time. It's just not true.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Right.
my brain is not like that at all. I just, want to have the correct information sometimes.
I'm gonna call you Amber Jersey.
But the way she's like, she's clearly not a nice person because she takes pleasure in beating him down and making him submit to her.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? He's all like a submissive like pussy. But the last thing I read was that he wasn't as she didn't know everything about him like she thought she did. I was like, yes, all right, I can't wait.
Well, I forgot when Nettie kept Nettie. I keep forgetting her name. When she kept saying like, "You don't want to mess with me," I kept forgetting that she killed her husband because I was like, "What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess she did stab someone."
I mean, she's right. She has backed it up.
Yep.
Crazy Nettie. I don't know. I don't think she's crazy at all. But I think she is a poor goddamn beaten down, abused woman who had enough and is still like being judged for getting out of that mess when no one else would help her.
Well, I don't know if people necessarily. I guess they judge is probably the right word. I feel like most people just pity her because they understand the situation.
This is New England we're talking about.
Right.
Everybody's judging all the time.
And probably you could argue for them, pity is judgment.
Yeah, well, it feels like judgment. Like they call her Crazy Nettie. Like, she's not crazy. Yeah. She's feel bad for her, for Christ's sake. Yeah, she killed her husband. But what do you think? Like, she's like a timid mouse. So what do you think it took for her to get to that point?
Clearly they understood because she went to a psychiatric facility for 4 years and that was it or something.
Yeah, she got off easy. Well, wait, when was the law? Was it it was the 90s, right?
Yeah, this was before the women law.
98? Was it that late?
96.
Oh, wait, when was this one?
92, I think I saw at the beginning. I always look when they're published.
Right. It's the watershed moment, before the law and after the law.
But so my point originally was just like, this kid, I know, like, Allie, you bring up a good point. He has no idea what he's doing, but I'm like, this so-called prank is going to get people killed.
Yes.
I mean,
and I'm just hoping it's not a dog.
Right.
Please be a human.
Oh my God, Nettie's.
Oh my God. Speaking of which, somebody just came outside next door. I mean, couldn't have been better. Quiet so far. Like Brian knows that he shouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if I would have done that. Brian knows better.
Well, if he was in his right mind, I think he would know better. But I think some of that hypnotism is still left on him.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's the supernatural part. Like they're under some kind of spell and they don't even realize it. So, like Alan saying, "What the hell's wrong with Buster?" Like he's like never acted like this before.
Well, I am so curious about what's going on with him because I'm like, is this his own deal with a Gaunt and also schizophrenia, or like what's going on here?
Yeah, they did the whole schizophrenia, which isn't schizophrenia anymore. Like whatever you call it, he was fucked up. I was like, well, okay, that's one way to look at it. Yeah,
But
and he did the schizophrenia.
well, he's acting. He's giving the very beginning signs of acting paranoid because he's like, stop persecuting me. But I wonder if he's also actually got someone messing with him as a favor to Mr. Gaunt.
Was that where he's going with that? That's why I say persecuted, because he's doing paranoid schizophrenia.
That's my intuition, but I have no idea. But then also maybe somebody is following him.
I mean, I think I know what's wrong with him, but we'll find out. I don't remember
Yeah, that's why I said I'm so
necessarily
curious.
if what's wrong with him is if his deal with Gaunt is his only issue. I guess.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I think it's a little both. Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, I think he's already up to something he shouldn't be, and Gaunt is just enhancing what was already. And that's a lot of what he seems to be doing. You know, like they're almost like inherently horrible, and he's just enhancing what's already there, like something else that I can't think of.
They always remind me of an episode of Charm, but there's an episode of Charm where there's like he's like some kind of demon that feeds off of people's like resentment. And so it's like the more issues that people have tried to brush under the rug, he like feeds off of that energy and then like really makes them dive into it. And so people become their worst version of themselves. And like that's how he gets his power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping these people aren't always like this, but there's definitely a trend towards everybody being an asshole. Like you got the Nettie and Wilma, you got two churches, you got Nars and Buster. What's his name? Danforth, which is a weird name. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Danforth Keaton. The third.
Although two's always a junior, so you kind of have to go straight to the third, so you get to say the third. So yeah, so Buster and Nars.
Hugh and his alcoholism.
Do we know what Hugh did?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Like what's like a roach clip? Like what's a foxtail? Like a brown, literally just a foxtail you hang from like your antenna on your car, I guess.
That's what I'm picturing, and it kind of makes sense.
Thing a long time ago.
To me, he's probably like very developmentally arrested, shall we say? And so, like in his mind, it's like that's obviously there's the persuasion going on too, but like that's a prized possession for him because that was the light of his life. What'd you say?
I was hoping, like, huh?
I didn't hear what you said.
He doesn't go in the AA meeting because he's picturing people making fun of him.
Well, I thought it was because he was. Yeah, why didn't he just leave it at home? I missed that part. I thought he was worried they would steal the foxtail. But
Well, it led into that, but yeah, I guess it was more about the foxtail. Like, so just go in, just go. But I was hoping, like, his obsession with the foxtail, he would actually stop drinking or something. But no, he just went to the.
He drank more.
Instead of the beer, yeah. We're not on beer anymore. We're going to the half gallon of whatever that was.
Yeah, I didn't recognize it.
I forgot.
At least he wasn't driving, I guess.
Time. And yeah, he was doing this whole speech while he's walking home about he doesn't drink and drive anymore. He learned that lesson. But he was at the bar trying to get them to give him his keys, and the only reason he's not driving home drunk is because they wouldn't give him his fucking keys.
I feel like that happened to Stephen King before.
I feel like I've been that guy and like been like, yeah, I'm sure it did. Well, I don't know. Who tells him to like no?
Well, maybe
wouldn't remember it.
Right. Oh, it's just so.
Hopefully that happened to him a bunch of times. And then was the guy drunk that hit him? He wasn't, right?
That hit him?
Yeah. What's his name? Brian. I keep wanting to say Brian Rusk. What the fuck is that guy's name? Can't think of his name. Was he drinking? He was sober, I think, right? He was just reaching for the fucking meat behind him in the car or something.
I don't remember.
I mean, in the story,
I don't know how true that is.
Tower, he was drinking.
He was drinking in the store. Okay. I wonder if that. Well, I heard he. I don't know. Yeah.
In real life, I have no idea.
Sucks when you like drink and drive all the time and then stop and get hit by a drunk driver.
Wait, he got hit walking.
But I don't know if that's
true. I not remember that. Oh, you mean?
I mean, like in real life and stuff. What did you say, Amber? You blanked out. Amber.
She's still here, hypothetically.
In spirit. Well, she's talking, but I don't hear her because I can see her thing lighting. Oh wait, no, that's Allie. You're A. She's P.
Yeah.
Okay, A's lighting up. I got nothing from P. P's gone. Bring back.
Yeah, no, I looked up the actual story of him getting hit,
Hello.
like, in real life. Hey, you're back.
Yeah, I got a call, then it disconnected me.
Yay! Love when that happens.
I thought you were talking about in the story. I didn't realize you were talking about in real life.
Yeah, was the guy that hit him? The guy that hit him in real life was named Brian.
Gotcha. Okay, that's why I was confused.
And was he drinking? He was drinking in the story, like Ali said. I can't remember.
I think he was sober. I think he was just reaching for something.
Yeah, at least that's the way it happened in the book, so I'm going with that. The dogs were barking, and there was meat in the back seat or some shit in the cooler, and they were getting into it.
Right. That was just, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was definitely in the Dark Tower book.
We keep ending up in the Dark Tower. We keep ending up talking about the tower when I try to talk about this one.
You would say things are going 19.
Yes, I keep going. Needful Things are going. And I always thought the name was weird, but like as one, it actually makes sense. The one point is like, there, another needful thing for somebody who needed it. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it works that way.
Well, yeah, again, it's very on the nose because he seems to mostly have the exact thing that people need. It's like
And it
that.
always happens to be in the window when they're walking by. So I feel like everybody that buys something is fucked, right? Because they're all going to be up to something.
Yeah.
If they,
well, except for the woman who bought the vase, because that was just $30 or something.
She was just a rando, right? I don't even know if she had a name.
Well, yeah, she bought that when other people were around. So it's like anyone who barters with him when it's just like him and them in the store, they're gonna be screwed.
Right?
Well, yeah.
Let's go to Needful Things. Like, right. Go and.
And I know we talked about this already, but when he was being really mean to that woman, I totally forgot. He also like did a super pervy, creepy thing too, where he was like, "Yeah, but you have to give me a blowjob first." She's just like, "What?"
Yeah.
That's the part where I was like, "Wait, is this really happening?" Because he was being such a dick, and then he's no, I can blow me if you want it. Like, whoa! And then she like, "Oh, that." Like, what are you doing?
And he said, "Oral sex gives me amnesia." I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah.
And
I was like, I don't even know what that means.
I have no.
Reminded me of something Flag would say.
Flag would let her do it.
Oh, it was just so weird. I'm like, ugh.
That was so out of like left field. I was like, what? It's like, again, where's your editor at? Like, come on.
Yeah.
You need some real talk.
Yeah. Like this thing is already drawing enough power. It doesn't need more power in the situation.
Yeah.
Right. That's just him being like a man, I guess.
Well, it's a power move. It's like, okay, now get on your knees. And he's like, nah, just kidding. Get up.
Yeah, I don't want your nasty ass anyway. I don't want a blowjob from anyone who is willing to give me Joe Mark. So I will not be a member of any club that would have me.
Yeah, it is like that took a weird turn. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I'm older, but all that kind of stuff now is like, really? Like, that didn't really add to the story one fucking bit.
Yeah.
It's just you being like a testosterone person with 3 kids. I don't know how many you had at this point. I feel like there might have been another one coming.
We get to see a little bit too much into his mind sometimes.
Right. You kind of always know what he's thinking, right? What year was that? Hold on. What came out that year? Oh, that's when he was doing this. Yeah, because this was around Bag of Bones with all its weird sex stuff. Might be Bag of Bones is what, 98? This might be the one before it.
Is this while he was still on coke?
I think he spent the 90s on coke. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I don't know how long he was actually doing it. I don't know, but I'm assuming he did it all through it. Just saying.
Well, yeah, I think we know.
Other than that, I'm not sure. I know now they're a lot shorter than they used to be, so like he doesn't have as much to say when he's not drunk and doing lines. Like, and I could just kind of picture him like taking a sip of the whiskey and then doing a line and then typing on his keyboard.
I did a lot of like speed reading through sections of this, where it's like detail, 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 unimportant, unimportant, unimportant.
Yeah, what do they call it? World building.
I mean, it did it. Even from the very first scene, I was very impressed. And like, I don't know, maybe it's just because they're so used to reading Stephen King by now, but like, I feel like I'm walking through these scenes as he's describing them. I'm like, yeah, I do see that. I'm like, oh wow, I see that too. Like, oh yeah, cool.
That's what, like in the beginning. What is that? Epigraph? I don't even know what that means. I thought that was like a thing on a tombstone. No, that's epitaph.
Epitaph.
Graph. I'm not sure.
Epigraph is a poem, isn't it?
Well, that's when we're like flying through the town. That's kind of what I was picturing, right? Like a drone almost going down the street, like going past the
Yeah.
businesses. Yeah, like what the hell my point was.
He
And
was very heavy on imagery.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, I was seeing it, and I was flying through the town as I was reading. I don't know if oh god, there's a car coming. Oh god, he was behaving before that. I guess we're used to each other, huh? Imagine that.
That's good.
Yeah, he's not barking, and I'm out here talking my ass off. So.
Oh, the neighbor dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I know. Well, yeah, a car came by, ruined the whole thing. Anyway, I was caught up in imagery and had something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was thinking about that this morning. So Alan's, did they die in the dark half? His wife and his kid, right?
I
I
had
don't
no
have to
idea
go
that
back
that
and
was.
read the dark half because it wasn't. I don't remember from Dom actually. It was like alter. He was like writing under a pen name and he killed the pen name. It would be like Bachman came to life and started killing people. That's what the dark half. And I guess that's, I don't know. I'm wondering if they died in that one, but I don't actually remember it, and I don't want to have to go back to find out. Not many books of his that I say that about, and I would read it because I'm sure it's still entertaining. But as far as his barometer goes, they under the line.
It's interesting that he's wants his characters to come to life when he writes so many bad ones.
Yeah.
Meaning like flag.
Oh, evil
Well,
bad.
between the Dark Tower and the Dark Half, I guess, like the author's characters come to life in the story, but it's like you don't want that to happen for most of the ones that you write.
I do not want that to happen. No. Danny can come to life. That's about it. Maybe Carrie, but I feel like catch her on a bad day. You just never.
I mean, Jake, that's different.
It's not going to end well with Jake. I don't want to put myself through that.
Well, you stay away from me, kid. I'm not that.
Right. Death, but not for you, Jake. Well, or death, but not only one.
Death forever.
He's caught in that movie. What is that called? Happy Death Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't they make?
Yes.
We saw that, Amber, right? And they made a second one, and we might have seen that one too.
Yes, and yes.
I actually like that movie, the first one, because it was a pretty good twist.
I liked it, yeah.
The first one was definitely entertaining. The second one was kind of.
I think I remember the same opinion. The second one.
I'll have to agree because I don't remember the second one.
Right, so clearly it wasn't memorable. He was talking about Norris doing his police report and like the IBM select tape and click wrapping and when he made a mistake he had to like change the correct tape wheel. And does anybody even know what that is right now?
I got the idea.
Like, do they ever have a delete button on this typewriter?
Never used it.
It's funny. Well, and that's the thing. It's like the fancy IBM electric typewriter that was like I don't know how to describe it. Like it was keys and like you would have these long keys with like the letter on the end of it, and you would hit the key, and the letter would slam the paper and put the thing on there. And then like the IBMs came out, and there was like a little ball that spun around, and it was electric, and all you had to do was touch it. It was almost like a keyboard on the typewriter. So he's talking about. There's a quick lesson.
Like technological evolution.
Typewriters, right? He kind of started writing on an actual old typewriter and has like it wrote right through all the because some of his matter of fact, he's got a story called Word Processor to the God. That was like before it was an actual computer. There was the word processor that you could type on, and he of course made a story where what he typed on a word processor came true in real life. So he did it again. Didn't like his wife and wanted to kill her. I'm starting to sense a theme here.
Is Tabby okay?
Right. When's the last time we've seen her? Because Thinner, the whole thing with Thinner is he gives his wife the cake, but his daughter eats it. So it's like, fuck. But he's like, got no problem with murdering his wife, though. Yeah. Tell me how you really feel. I wonder if she like sits next to him reading it going, do we need to talk? Can I go to sleep safely tonight?
And she's probably like, this isn't one about like us, right?
Right. We're
like
good.
there's two categories.
Yeah. It's like, nah, babe, it's all fake. I got all the like, right, especially like if they had a fight before, like he wrote that scene or something.
Oh god.
He's like, are you still mad at me? And every time they call it the crypt space, I cringed a little bit inside.
Call it the what?
Like the crypt space, the handicap spot, the crypt space.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, it's great that you're like fighting for this, but yeah, like it makes me feel weird.
I mean, that wasn't the worst word in this book, but we don't have to talk about that.
Oh, was there a classic?
Yes.
like 1920s Jim, or I can't remember his name from Bag of Bones.
Yes.
I don't actually remember that.
I think it was like in the beginning.
What is wrong with so I don't really know what a head selectman is or does, but a lot of his books have them. Isn't Big Jim the town selectman and Andy is like the second selectman or something?
Is that Under the Dome?
Yeah, from Under the Dome.
Yeah,
I think they're selectmen.
so.
I guess in Maine they can't afford like full-time politicians, so they just
Well,
have
is that just like a governor?
maybe. I'm not real sure. But anyway, this guy clearly is a politician, whatever, represents the people. And why can he not stay out of the fucking handicap spot? What is the deal?
I mean, that sounds about right.
Well, I mean, is there nowhere else to park? Like, seriously, it doesn't seem like it's that busy of a place.
I don't think it's really about that. I think he seems like the kind of person who's going to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I want to know. What is the law? Can he fire like Norris? I don't care who this guy is. He's coming into my police station acting like that. Fuck you.
Well, the fact that he's only threatening to arrest him for that, I thought was kind of crazy, but, maybe small town.
He assaulted a police officer.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the way I see it. I don't care what else your problem was. You don't get to do that. And then he's like, fuck you, that's it, you're fired. Like, well, wait, can he do that?
He seems to think he can, but it seems like Alan keeps talking him, like, away from it, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I didn't really figure that out. But yeah, we know that. So we got all kind of battles set up already. And they're all like, well, Wilma's just an awful person, I think.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
But the rest of the people are becoming awful.
Well, like you said, I think Keaton is up to something he shouldn't be doing already.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he keeps saying persecuted, which could be paranoia. But Alan definitely keys in on that word. Like, he keeps noticing that he keeps saying that. So now I'm noticing that he keeps saying that. And what the hell does that mean?
And also, like, why it is, I mean, they even said it's an overreaction for him. Like, why is he so high strung? Like,
Yeah,
why
that's
is...
what I mean.
Drug.
Yeah, it's almost like you said, Amber, like maybe he's already talked to fucking Needful Things and we don't know it yet. And that's why he's starting to act all like strung out or whatever he's doing.
Or someone else has talked to him and it's their, it's his favors to mess with him.
Yeah, do these objects, I guess, and well, we don't know, because every one of them kind of, except for the baseball card did it too, kind of takes them out of time and place and into a scene where they're living it.
It's almost a little Toadash.
A little bit.
Toadash before wait, no, I think Toadash existed by now. No, maybe not. When did Toadash show up? 5?
That didn't mean it literally. Just the same
I don't
feeling.
think it was there in the Wastelands, and then 4 was a flashback. Yeah, everything sounds Toadash when you go anywhere now. Once you go Toadash, there's no going back.
So I feel like we've gotten a really good setup, like you said, of all these different situations. That's again why it reminds me of a reality show where it's like, what's going on over in this corner?
Well, yeah, clearly everything's related, right? So we got sides, and we got people that are already like simmering, I guess you would say, and he's about to just boil the pot over.
It also
you do this.
It reminds me a little bit of what was going on in Insomnia, and like that all ended with a big kind of like explosion, not literally, but you know what I mean. Well, kind of literally.
Yeah, the Catholics and the Christians kind of remind me of that. Hey, it's not a good Stephen King book unless there's people taking sides.
Trouble brewing. I was thinking, what's the difference between Castle Rock and Derry? But it does still feel kind of different. I guess it's like more small town evil and less horrible humans evil.
Yeah, Derry's more. There's the big town. Castle Rock's the town in the boonies.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, I guess at some point he shifted because I think, and I'm just realizing this, like his early books are mostly Castle Rock, and then he changed it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know Castle Rock at all.
Well, and I'm also, other than this one, and the ones I can think of, Cujo and Dark Half, like so far they're throwaways, and I can't believe he made a sequel to Cujo of all books. What the fuck?
It's also funny to think of Derry as a big...
Yeah.
I mean, Bangor's pretty big, right?
True, yeah, I guess, relatively.
I mean,
Maine.
as far as towns go, it's got like shopping centers and shit. It's bigger than Wayne.
Well, yeah, definitely.
I mean, Bangor's like Christ, they got an international airport, don't they? Bangor.
Yeah, but I imagine like, first of all, I don't know. Well, yeah, never mind. I don't even know where I thought.
I mean, I feel like Portland is bigger than Bangor.
I don't think I've ever been to Portland. Augusta.
Even when he talks about Derry, he only describes like the same 4 streets.
Yeah.
With Witcham, Jackson, and 2 others.
Ed, have you been to Richmond?
What?
Portland is kind of like Frederick, Maryland, or Richmond, Virginia, in where it's like kind of hippie vibes.
Richmond I can't stand because it's congested as fuck. Frederick I like. Although Frederick's kind of like a ghetto in the middle of nowhere now.
No, it's not. It's really nice. It's like DC now.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on what area you're in.
If you go to downtown Frederick, it reminds me of being in Arlington.
Yeah, very much.
I knew a lot of. Well, okay, but maybe it's getting better. It used to be all drug infested, ghetto ridden Section 8.
Oh, gentrifying.
Right. Whatever. I was one of them. Shit. But I liked Frederick. I liked the architecture, like Pittsburgh, like the town in the mountains kind of thing.
Cool.
Anyway, I like Frederick way better. Most of my experience in Richmond is like being on the highway and not being able to drive because there's so many people in Richmond. Getting off.
You must hate DC then, because Richmond is so much better than.
I am not. I'm not gonna say I hate DC. DC
It's okay.
is tragically annoying, and they don't help the situation with all that one-way crap, which I've heard they did on purpose. Because if you're like some kind of terrorist or assassin, it's gonna be hard to escape in a car.
Yeah.
Because of all the one-way streets, but good God, is it hard to drive in DC?
Yeah.
Drive.
So we usually just drive somewhere and take the metro because it's not that bad. And I'm actually familiar with the metro from when I was a kid and didn't have a car. I relied on that thing. So yeah, I guess I'm not a fan of either one. Driving. Walmart deliveries here.
You know what's worse than both is Baltimore, but we don't need to talk about that either.
Well, 66 is still, I think, the worst road in the world. 76 going to Philly from like Valley Forge might be worse. They're both bad. They're both. We're going to Philly's game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Maryland and New Jersey have some of the worst drivers. But
oh, for sure.
Traffic is, yeah.
I hear LA's got a crown on that, and I don't really want to find it.
I've never driven in LA.
Traffic or on bad drivers?
Traffic.
Oh, yeah. LA is definitely the worst.
LA's the worst.
Well, I watch a lot of podcasts that are based in LA, and they talk about it all the time, so I know.
That's weird. I watch a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Rad and gnarly. Does anybody know what that means anymore? That's such like 90s things.
Yeah.
Dude, that was gnarly. Nobody said.
Some, like, there are specific types of people who still say that, but they're mostly like stoners and beach bums. Or like, yeah, I guess you call it a bum.
I picture someone in like a oversized long sleeve jersey, maybe some like skate shoes, a total 90s thing.
Or a drug rug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gnarly works with the drug rug. I mean, wait, what's
the drug rug and the slouchy beanie?
Yeah.
You need a hip pack with a hacky sack in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, stop judging imaginary people.
Who's judging?
I don't know. Not judging, but making fun of imaginary people.
I just thought it was funny when I remember him saying, what was the other word? Gnarly and what?
Rad. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, at least people our age definitely know what they mean. I don't know if many people say that.
Yeah.
My guy I worked with, his niece has Asperger's, and so they don't get sarcasm or nuance. I'm like, I'm not sure we can have a conversation because I think that's pretty much all I do.
Well,
yeah, he's like, yeah, I don't talk to her a lot.
I think, so that's what autism is, and so that's exactly what you see on Love on the Spectrum.
Okay, yeah, I haven't watched that since you left. I was more into that than I ever expected to be.
But it's like, that's why, I hate to say it, but that's why the show is entertaining, because they don't understand nuance.
Yeah, there's like an innocent and like almost a rawness to it. Like you almost wish you could be that way with people sometimes.
Yeah, I wish I could be.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, I don't have secrets, so I could be however I want.
Anyway,
but dating's different. Anyway, here's a book we're supposed to talk about.
I feel like we probably have covered most of it.
Yeah.
I like how they never tell you about Polly. They keep referencing the fact that she went and maybe had a kid. I'm not even sure, and came back with no kid. No kid mentioned. She's like telling Alan, they're so upset that they don't know what I did with my kid. Like, well, damn it, now I want to know. Stop talking about it. Tell me what happened.
To me, I'm like, I don't care. Because I'm like, in terms of, it's just so small town of them to be like, the audacity that she could have this secret and then also not share it, and so none of us even know. It's like, well, isn't that what you like? Don't you just like talking about each other behind your back anyway?
Right, and then she walked right in the damn store with the Tupperware on like the first 10 minutes.
Yep,
Oh
good
my
for her. I
God.
like her.
It was just so what does it say? That was so poly. That was so her to do something. Like, oh, she's such a yeah. I mean, I like her. I don't feel like she's that much of a rebel, but apparently she is. So,
I gotta say, every time she talks about the arthritis, like I get a lot of hand and wrist pain, and so like I do stretching and exercises, and I wear braces, and like every time she mentions it, I feel like a sympathetic pain in my hands, and I'm like, stop it, stop talking about it.
I'm trying to. I don't think I've. I mean, I'm no expert on arthritis. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with arthritis so bad their hands are like twisted into knots like that because they
Older
can't move
people.
them.
I
Okay,
don't know that I've ever seen it in like a 40-year-old or however old she is.
I'm actually picturing what's her name, Zelda.
Yeah, well,
From
she had MS.
yeah, yeah. I think it's what it was. So yeah, her hands like in the story, her hands are all twisted and like when she's like sitting on the bed. But that would be she's like 40 something, I think. Like that would be awful that your hands would be that fucked up that like early in your life.
Yeah, it's not fun, especially for someone who likes to sew.
Well, okay, follow up. Is that why your hands are like that?
No. I mean, maybe it didn't help, but you don't like then everybody who sews would have hands like that.
Well, most people use machines.
Well, I mean, I used to do, oh God, I was just saying I used to do a lot of cross stitch, but then I was just saying that my hands also hurt. I don't know, maybe it is.
Yeah, I like how they're like watching Nettie go in the store and come out. Was it carnival glass? I guess I know it's just like glass figurines, I'm assuming. I didn't worry
Yeah,
too
I
much
don't know.
about that.
There's a lot of things that I just completely gloss over because I'm like, I don't think it matters. I get the context.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what it is. The point is that it's the best thing they've ever had, and they will do whatever they have to keep and protect it.
From her mom and her ex-husband, or the former, I don't know, husband, what do you call him? Broke it.
The murdered guy.
The guy who got murdered?
Oh yeah, that was the murdered guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that right. The murdered guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the carnival glass that was like the final straw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck with that. Don't fuck with that carnival glass. Yeah, so like she already had strong feelings, I guess, about carnival glass, so he honed right in on that and hit her in
And
her.
magically, he had the piece that she had missing because it was broken.
Not only that, but he knew the one thing in life that she cared about, like more than anything else.
Right. Well, he's definitely like I don't know how it works with supernatural beings, but he can either read minds or just inherently knows things about them.
Yeah.
I feel like somebody's selling information to him.
He's got an assistant.
He was on the wrong phone list or something. Yeah, okay. I mean, I think we covered it all.
I feel like we did.
Yeah. And
Chapter 4,
again,
chapter
I feel
5.
like
Sorry, guys.
just that like all of this is set up in a good way where it's like we have enough mystery, or I'm like, all right, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, like he's definitely got it. He's definitely like setting it up, and it's like, oh, shit's coming. Like, what's it gonna be? Kind of. As I said, this is a fun book. I'm like, oh, like because they're doing this, and then they're doing, and we haven't even met all the like battles yet. Like the people that are going against each other. We just got a couple of them so far. So like the shit's gonna hit the fan. And I think it's great because it's just assumptions. Like I remember that time that you were yelling at me about my fucking dog, and now my sheets have mud on them. So that must have been you, and now I'm gonna kill you.
Yep.
Well, maybe you should find out before you start doing something. Like, Pete, where you at?
I mean, it is a great crime though, because like that is the logical assumption I would make too.
Well, that's what they all are. That's what they all do. They think it's the one thing that they thought it was in the first place. Like he just enhances what they already had. He's a great character without even really doing much.
Right. That's why I said it reminds me of that episode of Charmed, because that's exactly what he did. It's like you kind of like he like dips his finger in and then sits back and watches it all happen.
Yeah, and the last thing he does is offer a cop a deal. Okay, whoa. Now it's like the cop's going to be doing something like nefarious or illegal or like over a fishing rod. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but clearly they're being persuaded. So what's he going to have the cop do? And who's he going to do it to? It's not going to be Buster because that's not how this works. He's going to be fucking with somebody else that we might not even know about yet. But he's going to be fucking with somebody. Like, what is it? If you go in by yourself, then you're in trouble. Okay, what do we got? all the rest of part one. Oh, that puts us that's a little bit long. That's a good part to stop, though, right? Chapter 11 through chapter 11, mine is about like almost 250 pages. It's a lot. But part two starts right there.
Let's see.
It was kind of weird to stop like a chapter before the end of part one, right?
Yeah, I agree.
We can just do like 3 weeks if you want to read.
It's like 38 pages more than last time for me, so it's not that bad.
It's one book. I imagine it'll be a problem.
So just rest of part one?
Yes, through chapter 11, I think it is. My other tablet died. I'm not sure what it is. But
So chapter 6 through chapter 11.
Yeah, get part or when you get to part.
Yes, I am.
End of the podcast. Everybody say bye and leave your things for an hour or so.
Okay, bye.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
Bye.